You're watching RTV News with me, Jane Motoni. The headlines. President Paul Kagame has noted that the sacrifices of Rwanda's heroes are what have helped to build up a united country and urged young people to continue preserving that legacy. Residents of Rwanda district are being asked to learn from the history of heroism that marked the life of Nitegeka Felicite, who in her life was known for helping those in danger. On the international scenes, in details now, President Paul Kagame has noted that the sacrifices of Rwanda's heroes are what have helped to build up a united country and urged young people to continue preserving that legacy.
President Paul Kagame and the First Lady of Rwanda, Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame, laid a wreath at the National Heroes Mausoleum during the 28th National Heroes Day ceremony. As Rwandans remember and celebrate the legacy of the country's heroes, His Excellency the Head of State tweeted, and I quote, "We honor the lives of the heroes, men and women of Rwanda, and the sacrifices they made to enable us to build the dignified and unified nation we live in today. That puts a heavy responsibility on each of us who are working to transform our country." End of quote. To Rwanda's young people, this was his message. I once again quote, "We count on you to keep the unbreakable Rwandan spirit alive for generations to come." End of quote. Others at the mausoleum to attend the ceremony were Rwandan officials as well as members of the diplomatic corps. A minute was taken to honor the fallen heroes and all they did. This year's theme was focusing on the heroism of Rwandans as their dignity.
Before we continue with this edition of the news, let us also inform you that on Tuesday, President Paul Kagame received and held a meeting with Wamkele Mene at Village Urugwiro. Wamkele Kebertswe Mene is the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, and discussions between the two dignitaries focused on the progress that has been made towards a successful functioning free trade area. Moving on, Prime Minister Dr. Eduardo Ngirente has noted that Rwanda's developmental efforts are based on the unity and reconciliation that was made possible by the country's heroes. The Prime Minister made the observations while officiating on behalf of President Paul Kagame at the Rwanda National Day celebration of the Dubai Expo on Tuesday.
I also want to use this opportunity to appreciate the existing good bilateral relationship between Rwanda and your country. Our strong cooperation has given birth to joint programs promoting knowledge exchange, and partnerships, which have been proven important in driving trade and investment in various sectors of the economy. These include real estate, logistics, agriculture, horticulture, tourism and hospitality, and air transport, as well as healthcare and manufacturing industries. Excellencies, distinguished guests, the theme of Expo Dubai 2020, which is connecting minds and creating the future, is relevant. It offers a unique opportunity for countries to showcase diversity and potential, as well as foster strategic partnership for mutual benefit. The Expo Dubai 2020 is also an important platform for governments and business leaders to connect and discuss practical ways to attract investments. Today, as we gather with all of you to showcase Rwanda's culture and attractions, we also pay tribute to people who exemplified the highest values of patriotism, sacrificing for the well-being of our people. This day marks our National Heroes Day. It also symbolizes the start of Rwanda's recovery and development journey. Rwanda has emerged as one of Africa's fastest growing economies for the last 2 decades, till before COVID-19 pandemic. It achieved an average growth rate close to 8%. It also arose as the second easiest place to start and do business in Africa.
The Prime Minister also highlighted the many investment opportunities that exist in Rwanda.
Supported by unique homegrown initiatives and solutions and strong values of self-reliance, dignity, and hard work, Rwanda has achieved remarkable development gains. Rwanda has emerged as one of Africa's fastest growing economies for the last 2 decades, till before COVID-19 pandemic. It achieved an average growth rate close to 8%. It also arose as the second easiest place to start and do business in Africa. Rwanda has further established a universal health insurance system for all Rwandans, positioning itself as a leading tourism destination in the region, and is an emerging proof of concept destination for innovators. Even though the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted our economy in 2020, just as it did for the world economy, Rwanda registered a growth rate of 10.2% in 2021, and we are now projecting this year to grow at 7.2% minimum. This is possible thanks to programs and initiatives put in place by the government. One of the lessons we have learned from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic is the importance of collaboration, innovation, and cooperation. We believe that these are important tools to help nations fight against the spread of COVID-19 and its negative impact on the recovery process globally. It's in this regard that we welcome you to visit our pavilion and explore further opportunities for investment in technology and innovation, financial services, education, health, renewable energy, as well as many other sectors in Rwanda.
Residents of Ruvu district are being asked to learn from the history of heroism that marked the life of Niyitegeka Felicite, who in her life was known for helping those in danger, as reflected in the celebration of Rwanda's Heroes Day. In celebration of today, 3 needy families were given houses to live in and another was given cows. Martina Abera reports.
At the Saint Pierre Center in Gisenyi sector, near the Rubavu-Goma border, hero Niyitegeka Felicite bravely hid some Tutsi who had taken refuge during the genocide against the Tutsi, some fleeing to the Democratic Republic of Congo, others she sacrificed herself and died with them on April 21st, 1994 during the genocide against the Tutsi. Marie-Claire was one of the people who lived with her until her last day when she was shot and killed. Here, with the help of the center they were in, she speaks of the courage that characterized Niyitegeka Felicite.
Noneho yarangiza akabereka agatara kari hakurya hariya urabona ko ni ku mupaka akabereka ati iriya shuri riri hariya hakurya.
When they would come to her for help, she would show them a path that would lead to the Democratic Republic of Congo in order for them to seek refuge. She would tell them to have no fear, that the God that protected Mary and her son Jesus will protect them as well. She agreed to die after refusing to flee, even though she had received the help of her older brother, who was a soldier, and promised her that she would be escorted by the soldiers who accompanied him, but she refused to leave those who had taken refuge with her. Instead, she allowed to die with them. Based on this courage and good governance that followed the liberation of Rwanda, some Christians who attend the Ateper Church in Busasamana sector donated to 3 needy families with houses they built for them. One of these families appreciates the work done by their peers because it shows dedication and courage. Another resident was given a cow in this sector, which was given to her by the residents of Gisenyi district in Busasamana sector, who supported them and provided them with food during the COVID-19 period. She also speaks out her heart. I really thank President Paul Kagame for bringing about the Girinka program. The fact that I have milk to feed my children is a great deal. The charitable deeds of giving life to others and helping those in danger were the hallmarks of the hero Niyitegeka Felicité, as Mukarugero Marie-Claire continues to emphasize and seeks to urge Rwandans to learn from it.
ariko we ikintu cyamuranze n'ubunge ntivuga ngo icyampa nkagishobora no gutega.
What made her stand out in her heroism is her ability to listen to people and lend them an ear. You can't be able to help someone without listening to them first. The second thing we can learn from her is valuing the lives of others. Allowing to sacrifice your life for people you don't even know is not something easy to do. St. Pierre Center is now preserved as a memorial of who Niyitegeka Felicité was and what she did. Martina Abera, RTV News.
Thank you, Martina, for that report. Now, local residents of Nyanje of Ngororero district have continued to commend the courage of the students there back in the 90s who chose to die rather than allow themselves to be divided along ethnic lines. Teachers there today say their legacy has lived on the district's youth. Take a look.
It was 8 p.m. on the 18th of March in 1997 when the students stared death in the face, but still stood firm in their conviction that they were one, resulting in some being martyred, but their actions did not die with them and have continued to echo over the years. It gives a lesson not to follow evil, regardless of the power that may be driving it. They were put in the most difficult of situations, and they prevailed, leaving behind an important lesson that will live on. Teachers in the area now use the actions of those brave young men and women all those years ago to teach not only their students but their parents as well the importance of unity and what some were willing to give to preserve it. Those who study at Nyanje Secondary School today are surrounded by the legacy of their predecessors, heroes now immortalized in the very classrooms they refuse to turn on each other. And they say that they understand that heroes are not born only during times of conflict. You cannot allow yourself to be shaken by difficulties, and heroism does not necessarily have to become evident only during war. Being able to do something you committed yourself to achieving is also heroism. Doing well in your studies as a student is heroism, because that is a significant achievement. 3 of the classrooms at Nyanje Secondary School are now part of a memorial that teaches a lesson just as important as any a student today may learn in its other classrooms. That of being mature enough to make decisions that positively impact not just yourself, but an entire nation for generations to come.
Those living on Kombo Island, located on Lake Kivu, commend the soldiers of what used to be the Rwanda Patriotic Army for liberating the country back in 1994, because that achievement resulted in the people on the island being recognized as Rwandans, unlike before when it was claimed that they belonged to a tribe from the Congo. Rusizi district authorities have been urging people with roots on the island to come back and help develop it further.
For decades, the people on the island lived with a serious dilemma, neither here nor there. It was truly unfortunate. On the Rwandan mainland, they knew that we are Rwandans, but called us the Bashi because of our accent. Yet every time we tried to join the true Congolese Bashi across the border, they would claim that they are being attacked by Rwandans. The people on the island also suffered due to a lack of proper infrastructure, with no running water, and drank directly from Lake Kivu, and that resulted in frequent cholera outbreaks that killed them in droves. Today, all that is in the past because 78.7% of homes on the island have access to clean water and 82.7% have electricity. Hombo is also now home to 2 primary schools and 4 secondary ones. The students of one of them, St. Pierre, having recently made their own prototype motorcycle that runs on salt water as fuel. The opportunities students there now have were only a dream for others that grew up there in the past. I now have a bachelor's degree, but getting it was really hard. I first had to go to study in the DRC, then continue my studies in Rwanda. Because of the history of marginalization we endured here on this island, we do not have enough schools here. Today, many of the people whose lives began on Hombo moved on to become successful people elsewhere, and Rusizi district officials are now calling on them to return and help develop the island.
ku Nkombo mu by'ukuri abanyenkombo ndabizi ni benshi bari haraza Kigali.
I know of many people from Hombo now living in Kigali and are very wealthy. We're now asking them to come and help develop the island, especially when it comes to ensuring that there is sufficient community health insurance. We have already done a lot when it comes to clean water distribution and electricity, as you heard for yourselves. So we just need them to help with health insurance and assisting the people to begin saving in the Ejo Heza Fund.
Nibyo twumva tubifuzaho cyane cyane kugira ngo badufashe muri no minsi.
The Nkombo residents now dream of a bridge linking them to the mainland over a narrow strait of water, and that tourism will be boosted on their island. For now, they are happy about the fact that they no longer require boat rides to get to a doctor, seeing that they now have one based at their health center permanently.
Well, there you have it on behalf of the entire news production team. Thank you so much for your company. I'm Jane Mutoni. Have a great week ahead.